We all know calculus is one of the most useful branches of mathematics with applications in science, engineering, maths and economics. And the inventor? As with many questions regarding invention, the answer is quite complicated. Both Isaac Newton and Gottfried Leibniz invented calculus, but strangely enough, the world believed that only one man was creditable for 150 years. In 1666, Newton was one of the many students of Cambridge University that were sent home due to fear of the bubonic plague. In his spare time, Newton developed what we now know as calculus to solve physics problems regarding planetary motions. He mainly used geometrical proof for his new theory and relied on limits and concrete reality instead of concepts and theory. However, as was typical with Newton, he withheld his extraordinary findings for many years, refusing to publish them for the rest of the world. Meanwhile, Gottfried, a German philosopher and mathematician, began working on his calculus. In 1674, on November 11, 1675, he made a breakthrough, and was able to find the area under the graph f of x. He invented a whole new system of notation for his discovery, using the elongated letter S for the Latin word summa, meaning integration, and D for the Latin word for differentia, meaning differentials. Leibniz published his first account of differential calculus in 1684, and then published an explanation for integral calculus in 1686. A year later, 1686, Newton finally got around to publish his findings, producing the Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, including his 3 laws of motions, his laws of universal gravitation and his invention of calculus. However, since Leibniz published first, he was credited for this amazing new field of mathematics, not Newton. Determined to prove that he was the father of calculus, Newton went on a 17th-century smear campaign to prove that Leibniz had plagiarized. Due to Newton's influence from the publication of Principia Mathematica, he was favored by the prestigious British Royal Society, and became known as the father of calculus. In 1715, the Royal Society officially claimed Sir Isaac Newton as the father of calculus, despite the fact that Leibniz's system of notation was actually more efficient than Newton's dot notation. However, in spite of the ruling of the Royal Society, mathematics and the rest of Europe continued from where Leibniz had left off, which left British mathematics languished as the continental mathematics of Europe advanced. It was only until 1820 that Britain finally recognized the work of foreign mathematicians. Most historians have come to the conclusion that both Newton and Leibniz invented calculus independently. Though, as Newton claimed, Leibniz had indeed seen some early manuscripts of the Principia, but by the time he had already came up to his own conclusion. Further analysis of both men's methods has provided more evidence. Newton, who used calculus as a tool for physics, has approached it from the derivative as applied to motion and velocity. In contrast, Leibniz had taken a geometrical approach, basing his discoveries on works of previous mathematicians. This is perhaps the most conclusive evidence that both Isaac Newton and Gottfried Leibniz are independent inventors of calculus. In spite of all of the hubbubs of who and when, both Isaac Newton and Gottfried Leibniz are best remembered as pioneers of mathematics, adventurers who pushed human comprehension to new frontiers. For that, both men deserve the credit.